And good Tuesday evening, everybody. It's the Masked Comedian X-Cast, live from wherever we are. How you doing, Big Ace?
Hello. What's that a shot of?
That is a shot of the Target Center from Sunday night. There were more people in there than that, but it's a here.
No, there wasn't. Let's not lie. That's all that was there.
Yeah, that's all that was there. They were moving people up, but not us, because they already got our money. I thought it was a lot of fun to go to TLC at the Target Center. I hadn't been to a pay-per-view in a long time, and I thought it was pretty good, with a couple of exceptions and things, and we'll talk about that probably a lot. We also are going to review the TLC that was in 2017, also at the Target Center. Apparently, Minneapolis is only good for TLC pay-per-views, if that's even the case. We'll also be talking a little bit about the NWA Into the Fire. I'm not sure whether you got that or not, but boy, I really enjoyed it. And of course, the news that Marty the Villain Skrull appeared on NWA Into the Fire. Boy, oh boy, was that exciting. And if you watch the first episode after their pay-per-view of NWA Power, Marty Skrull was on there again prominently. So he's going to be there, I think, a little bit, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people. If you're watching tonight, we are on 4 platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, and we're also on Twitch. If you'd like to make a comment, tell us hello, tell us where you're watching. We'd love to hear from you. We usually pop up those comments as they come in. But let's start off with Friday. Did you watch any of Friday's show? Because there were still announcements to be made.
I did, yeah. I watched, yeah, but that was the thing, is I watched it for that, and there really wasn't anything that got announced. Honestly, I don't remember anything being announced. Maybe one thing, I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was not. Yeah, it was nothing stellar for SmackDown to stand out. And again, it just wasn't a lot. It didn't create a lot more buzz for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or
no.
Why do they call them pay-per-views? Are they even like? Can
you
buy them on a pay-per-view provider?
I think that you can, if you are behind the times and don't have any awareness of all of the WWE network, then yes, I think you may pay for it. I have no idea how many people would or why they would, but it seems odd at this point. But it seems to be the way that the wrestling industry has gone. Everything's we'll do a few shows and we'll do a pay-per-view, and it in some cases we got a little bit of a different thing with NXT, because NXT tomorrow is going to be absolutely fantastic. They've already announced that the very first match on NXT tomorrow will be Finn Balor against Adam Cole for the championship, and they've also announced there will be no commercial interruptions. They are really trying to take it to AEW. And as I mentioned to you when we were coming back, it's going to be, along with the Shayna Baszler Rhea Ripley match for the women's championship, it's going to be really hard to not watch NXT first before AEW, which is what I've been doing all along. I've watched NXT after the fact, and I will still watch whatever the other show, but for that live show, I feel like I almost have to watch NXT this week.
Jungle Boy and Chris Jericho is just not a big enough pull for you?
Not with a 10-minute time limit, it isn't.
Oh, that's right. It is only
10-minute time limit.
I
So
forgot about that.
So I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, you got SCU against the Young Bucks, and that'll be a great match. But it's not one that I have to. I want to say I want to see that as it happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this is the first time that, at least for me, NXT has enticed me. But they had to do it with two huge championship matches, and but I mean, these are both takeover worthy matches as well, and so it makes you wonder: are they not going to be doing takeovers anymore?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just because they obviously was involved with Survivor Series, big presence, but that's understandable in that kind of show. But
Mm-hmm.
the interesting thing is starting to hear, they're going to be more involved in the Rumble. Like they're actually going to have, like, each brand's going to have a certain amount. Is that what's?
Yep, I heard it was going to be 10 participants for each brand, which it definitely is going to take away some of those surprise entrances that we've come to love. You know,
Yeah, and that might hurt them. I don't know if the NXT entrants are going to be a big enough, but this also could maybe just be for the year. I don't know.
I know.
And then the talk of them having more involvement on the actual WrestleMania card this year too. I feel like they really are just trying to kind of make it more legitimate, so it's not it's not like minor league, because that was the thing, is everybody's like, it's always going to be WWE's minor league and developmental.
Yeah.
It's AEW. It's always going to be that. They'll never let it shine higher than SmackDown or Raw because it's always in Vince's mind going to be WWE developmental. And I think maybe that's what they're trying to get people off of, is that maybe they are trying to make this more legitimate, because in all, it's been pretty neck and neck, but I mean, they haven't been exactly doing better than them on most Wednesdays since launch. So who knows? Because then you hear the argument about the live shows and how, well, AEW didn't even have half the arena filled. But again, for a show that's only 2 months in the TV and they're still pulling 5,000 to 6,000, 7,000 people in, that's still big numbers. And I think you sight in that.
And there's still, let's be honest, AEW is still in that honeymoon period where people are still gonna, they're gonna give them a little bit of leeway where they may not do that with NXT, and I think that might be why NXT has to pull out all the stops. Hey, Adam.
I love the picture of the kitty, Adam. Yeah, Adam. If you ever meet Adam, who you see on here commenting, ask him about his test story. It's classic. Yeah, man, you're right. Lashley and Rusev did kill the crowd, and it was pretty funny that you were just like right behind us in that suite. But yeah, and that concussion, like we were talking about before, and that I felt bad because that was the match you were really into, and even at the end, we were like, that was weird.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you watched Raw, you saw that they let.
Yep.
If you saw Raw, you saw that they let Asuka beat up and that was another weird thing. They had an NXT call up that was, in essence, it seemed like she was just, there was enhancement talent for Asuka to go through to build up the Becky Asuka match, which is clearly going to be coming. I saw something today, which I can't remember if it was What Culture or who it was that mentioned when Asuka came out last night on Raw, Kairi Sane, and I do it in quotations, escorted her out only to the stage. She didn't even go down a ramp. And somebody said she was either she was concussed that badly that she couldn't do that. She was probably, or the fact that it might even have been somebody else, dressed in a Kairi Sane suit.
I guess I did not. I probably was dozing off during that part.
You probably were, but that was the best match because it's Asuka, dude.
Oh yeah, no, obviously, but
Shayna Chan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Me and Wes did a show last night while watching Raw, and I was done with that. I was kind of done with Raw.
Yeah,
passed out. But also I wasn't actually feeling well at TLC, and that kind of carried over into the last couple of days. So just really tired. So anyways, no, the New Day and Revival match, I think, delivered more than anybody thought would.
Absolutely.
I think the Andrade and Humberto pre-show match was great. And I can't remember if he had dark trunks on. I noticed on Raw he did, which was like, okay, and he had a little bit more attitude that you can see where that's going. And he's obviously going to be joining up forces with Zelina Vega, probably still Andrade too. If not, he's hooking up with Zelina though. But yeah, that was a good match. He had Andrade had a bum of an eye on Raw.
Oh yeah.
That was a pretty big hit.
Yeah. It seems like the matches where somebody got hurt were more than were expected.
Yeah, they definitely were, because Aleister Black and Buddy is it Buddy Murphy?
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember his name.
Because he looks just like Aleister Black without the tattoos.
I'm always just like, that's the guy that was with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I think he broke his nose, didn't he?
Dude, that was rough too, because it was off of like a kick, I guess.
And it just kept coming.
But then they kept doing it. Yeah, and you could tell he was hurting when at the end the ref went to raise Aleister Black's hand, and he was like, hang on.
Yeah.
He was struggling to breathe there. Yeah, that was a really, overall, the whole pay-per-view was better than I had thought it would be going in. I didn't have high expectations. I was just like, hey, we're gonna just go and have fun watching this show. Again, ended up not feeling well, so I wasn't like super like crazy. I was hoping to have a few more drinks than I ended up having that night and stuff, but we still had a good time watching it. But and it, again, like I think after the very first match, we were like, oh, this is already going better than I thought this would start. So I'm in. And then it kind of did just get progressively better. And then, that Lashley and Lana is really, really where it just took that dive.
And I think part of it is because Lashley has zero personality. You know, he just doesn't. And as much as I hate to say it, we've talked about it before. Rusev is the one that's carrying that whole angle. And to be honest, Lana is annoying as she is doing what she needs to do as a heel, even though it isn't always perfect. But good God, she's carrying Lashley. I mean, you when you look at this, you don't realize how much Lio Rush meant to Bobby Lashley. And then in hindsight, you think, well, maybe Lio Rush was right, that he deserved more than what he was getting because he was carrying that big oaf. You know?
Do you think maybe it's also being hurt by the fact that it's almost unbelievable?
What do you mean almost unbelievable?
It's not being sold well. Like, she's overdoing it. Bobby Lashley's just kind of like, hey, I'm making out with this blonde chick. You know, and then Rusev's like, whatever, I'm getting paid and we're on TV. So yay us. And, and it is a shame because Rusev could be doing so many other things and being, used right. And instead it's this. But man, it just, it just killed that. It was hard to come back from that one.
Well, it's that clown business, And another one who was not involved in the pay-per-view, but is in that same kind of, here's an oddball, is Eric Rowan. I mean, I don't know, but Adam, how do you think that happens? Because the only way I can see it happening is if Lana is so annoying that, where's the redemption? He doesn't want her back.
CM Punk did have a good booking on this.
Oh, yeah.
His was a good booking where it ends at Mania with her in the shark cage and the loser gets her.
Yeah.
Like he was on to something with that. That would be that would be a good call, I think. But I don't know. There's other things they could do too, because it's really quick to be like, let's forget a lot of the stuff we've done with Rusev and Lana, because first of all, we went through this before when she was the face and left and was still the ravishing Russian and was hanging out with Ziggler, and then he had Summer Rae basically be Lana too. Mm-hmm. You know, and she even proposed to Rusev. Summer Rae did. You know what I mean? So like, they should have just brought that back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, there was better ways to make this more believable than. I think they're just trying to make more money with her on TV because she's on Total Divas.
Yeah, well, you know, it's what I've been saying for a while now, since we've been talking. A lot of the stuff that they do is recycled, and you don't have to be a genius to see how recycled it is. You know, it's you know, like with Eric Rowan, what's he got in there? Well, so we'll see sooner or later, and then but it's going to be hokey. What could be in there? You know?
At this point, it's like, what? Like, just do it already. Like,
and it has happened. We were talking about that on the way home too, Adam. Man, it was.
The problem is there's no just like following through. Like, how are you gonna have where like everybody's in the arena being like, no one's gonna help Roman Reigns?
Yeah,
like everybody was saying that, like, no one's gonna help him, like no one's coming out, and then no one did come out. But then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, the fight actually is still going on, and now the entire black locker room's helping him.
But they're not really helping him, as you recall, and that's one thing I noticed. They were only helping, like the Viking Raiders were fighting the OC.
Yeah, it was everybody who was matched up, you know.
And so that was not any help to Roman Reigns.
But the whole thing was that all they wanted was that spot to help Roman Reigns.
Yeah, so he could dive off of the
That's it. Which honestly, he do that off the top rope. It's probably a higher fall, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, but I don't know. I mean,
I guess I could be wrong, but it didn't seem like it was that much higher. It shit on that women's match.
Oh, totally, 100%. And the fact of the matter is that women's match needed all the help it could get because it was doomed from the start.
Well, and that's just it. They tried so hard to get people into that this feud and Becky and Charlotte teaming up, and then they just crapped on it. And I mean, I get it too. The match probably had to take some audibles at the end because of Kairi Sane and her injury, but still, the bottom line is there was no breather. As soon as it was 3 bell ring, boom, they were out of that tunnel. Like, they wanted eyes off that ring immediately.
I don't even think Asuka was off the ladder before they were out there.
Oh,
but you recall, this is one thing, and I don't know if you noticed, Adam, we were watching as they were clearing people off of the back rows of the floor seats, and we're like, well, something's going to happen. We saw them kind of clear when Daniel Bryan came out during the Fiend Miz match. But then they were literally moving people out of those floor seats into other seats before that all happened. And it was just very, very odd. But it was like, yeah, it's happening.
It's always funny when I go because it's like I see that stuff and I'm like, ugh. I hate that I almost watch for the production cues and stuff more than I watch the actual wrestling in the ring sometimes. Because every time I'd be like, hey, look, they're starting to clear that out right now. Like,
and
they're doing this now. But it's
same thing. We were watching when Bray went under the ring, when the lights went out. We were watching. Okay, watch. When's he leaving? When's he leaving? I mean, it was like that was more important than whatever the hell they were showing on the screen.
My favorite was when they had to do that with Taker because there was really no way. Like you couldn't see him, but who else is that big of a dude coming out and like walking up the ramp? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it'd be hilarious. You'd always see it when it was Taker. Like, there he is. Um, yeah.
Well, here's the other thing though. It's like, to me, it's like, okay, well, they got him going up the ramp, but I mean, they could just as easily take him out the side like they did everybody else when they were coming in from the back. So that's the thing. It's like, oh, here's this big fight going on in the back, and well, they didn't come down the ramp. They came from the back of the building where none of them were really. I don't know if you've ever been in the Target Center. There's some side rooms and different rooms in there, but
it didn't make any sense. That's
not to pick it apart, because I did enjoy probably 85% to 90% of that show.
Yeah, it was definitely a burner show for sure. I want to know what it was like at Raw though on Monday, because if I'm correct, they did Raw live, but then I think they were taping next week.
Yes.
You mean to tell me that was a 6-hour show?
Yeah, boy, we screwed up spending money on this thing, didn't we?
I wonder if they charged double then. Obviously, they didn't, because I do remember months ago that they actually had a specific weekend show, I believe, booked, and that was the one filmed for Raw that week, and it got canceled. Like the arena pulled out or something, and they scheduled it to this one in Iowa. So, I think it was originally going to happen a few days before, I don't remember, or right in the middle. Either way, that's a long time. If people complain about a 4-hour pay-per-view live and on TV, a 6-hour Raw show.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
That maybe they do half of that, and it's going to be just a lot of video packages. A lot of Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from your favorite superstar. That's going to eat up half the show. Them doing their Merry.
Man, I hope not. I don't care. I won't be watching it.
And no tribute to the troops this year on TV. That's new. Which, to be honest, I haven't watched them the last probably 5 years, so not a big deal to me.
All right.
I watched it. It was interesting when they were actually overseas in years where they were going into war, basically, and not to discredit what the whole purpose of that show is, but it's just. It was it was easy to get lost in that, because you're watching them. Remember when Michael Cole was hiding under a truck because things were going off while he was doing an interview. It was real stuff then. Not that it's not now, but now it's just so kind of hokey. We're gonna have Kid Rock come play. And, this guy from this TV show coming. It's gonna just be hey everybody. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It was a long time before they came to Minneapolis back, and we talked about SummerSlam last week, back in 99, and it's almost, we were trying to talk about this on the way out. It's why would they come here in the middle of winter? Why do they do that? And part of it is, I think, because there's nothing else going on, and they think people will show up for stuff. I know that's how it works in comedy. Comedy is way busier in the winter up here than it is during the summer, because people want to go outside and do stuff.
Right.
But having said that, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean,
because for me, it's with that Alliance feel, I think that's a perfect place that they can come here and do SummerSlam in an outdoor arena.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got the Twin Cities right in between Minneapolis, St. Paul. So you could use both arenas, both sides, the convention center, the river center, whatever, and do all your SummerSlam weekend stuff. It's hard for me, because those are the ones I always go back to. It is a smaller market, but I don't know. It's been the rumor, but the new rumor that came out was that I guess the NFL ripped Minneapolis apart in the review for their Super Bowl experience.
Really?
And that scared off WWE. So now the talk is that we will not get a Mania ever. Yeah, it was something online a couple weeks ago that came out, but yeah,
very interesting.
I don't know. I'm looking for Vegas Mania. I'm there.
That'd be something. Boy, you'd lose a lot of money, wouldn't you?
Nah, that'd be all right.
You sure?
I don't gamble that much. I just want to go and like I like going to Vegas to just watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, also with all the WWE stuff going on, like that would be a lot of fun, I think. And that new stadium down there is going to be pretty nice. The arena's right by it, I think. It's just perfect spot, man. That would be a fun weekend or week to be for a Mania, you know? Because some cities are fun, some are like New York one, not that fun.
Yeah.
When it's all spread apart, New Jersey, New York, the city, out of the city, you know, we're like New Orleans, fun. It was all in basically the French Quarter and down on Canal. Like it really was not crazy. Miami was just fun because it was Miami. It had that atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But like Dallas wasn't, you know, there was stuff going on in the city, Dallas. There was stuff going on in the little surrounding areas. There was, Mania. I mean, Dallas Stadium is not super close to Dallas. It's like a 20-minute bus ride that we took to get there. You know, get to Arlington. So there are cities when it's hosted. It's so much fun.
So what you're telling me is that there was nobody signing pictures at a Walmart 30 miles away from the arena.
No, not there. Yeah, the good old PVI days.
Oh man.
I wish we still had stuff on online. I kind of I removed everything a long time ago, but I wish it was still online. The one video of our I think it might have been Chamber Weekend where Adam actually tells us the test story, and I don't know why, but it makes me laugh every time. But unless he's actually on the show someday, I'm not going to tell the story. So,
well, we should have him on the show. We could send him an invite right now. He could be on the show.
Yeah,
send him that link, dude.
I have to, don't I?
You can send the same link that I sent to you, and we'll bring him on because I'd love to hear the story.
Oh, I can't.
Why not?
When I'm in and we're on, I can't. You can't.
You can't what?
There's no link to share.
Yeah, there is.
I got to go on YouTube to do it now.
Hold on. No, you don't. No, you don't send him the link to the show. You send the link that I sent you to get into the studio, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Forget that. Now you're screwing up the whole show because you're not trusting me. See, I told you got to trust me, man. Trust me more. Trust me that there's going to be live shit on the show, baby.
Where?
Oh, he's pooping right now. Oh, man. That's even better story. Tell us a test story while you're pooping. That'd be great. Anyway, in the meantime, this was honestly, there were my two favorite things from that show were both from the same match, and I absolutely loved this. I'm just going ahead and share it right now because, god darn it, it's one of my favorites, and it was this one right here.
You're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Did you pick this? We're gonna totally get pulled off now. I gotta talk over the song.
We're not gonna get pulled off. You know why we're not? Because they don't play that entire song. But I'll tell you what. This is the first entire entrance song. I mean, that entrance theme that Bray ever had, right?
That place went very hard when he took the selfie.
When he came out like that, when he took the selfie, there's you. You were happy.
That was a good time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And there he is up on the table. It's hard to see, I know, but it's because I'm not real good with the camera yet.
No,
I'm not good with phone camera. You were hard for that, weren't you?
Yeah, kind of. I was kind of also laughing in between that. You like,
It was great because the little kids in front of us, and I got to think probably 6 and 8 years old, two little kids that their dad brought. There's a selfie. Fans loved it. And then my favorite part is the in and out, in and out, in and out 3 times, baby.
Here's my thing, though. How do you feel about the end of that? Like,
I think it sucked.
I did not like that he was staring at the Fiend on the screen.
No, because why would that be? Why would that be?
Like, just allude to now they're 2 people when this whole time the
Yay!
fascination is that we have the same guy but 2 different molds of them, basically.
Yeah, see, and go do it. Yay!
I like his Bill Cosby sweatshirt.
Dude, the whole thing was hilarious to me. Oh my god, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I thought the hammer was enough with the Fiend paint on it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they needed to have the actual Fiend on the screen like if they were looking at each other.
Well, as you and I were talking, I mean, I thought there was so much, there were so many different things that could have happened. I thought it, and this is, I'm glad the way it turned out with Daniel Bryan coming out was okay. I thought the Fiend might come out and it might be Daniel Bryan as the Fiend. I thought, to my way of thinking, that would have been very interesting. And now it's okay. Now I get it. You know, we also thought that Liv Morgan would come out, and I thought it was that one guy. Thanks for joining, Adam.
Later, buddy.
But yeah, so we thought it was going to be Liv Morgan coming out, and in fact, I thought that one lady was her. There was a blonde woman came out, and I thought it was going to be her. And you're like, what kind of guy?
The other part of that, though.
Well, you know, use a towel.
Monday. Oh wait, it's Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah. So there were so many things that could have happened, and I guess even though I was happy with what happened, it ended up being probably the most predictable thing that could have happened. Would you agree with that?
With what now?
So out of everything that could have happened at the end of that match, I feel like Bryan coming out was the most predictable thing that could have happened.
It was, and it wasn't like predictable where people were mad at it.
Right.
It was just like, this is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
I think if they waited a little longer, people would have been a little bit happier. I don't know why, but I know why. I mean, there's just always been this thing about Sister Abigail. So anytime there's talk of a female wrestler is going to actually consume the role of Sister Abigail, people start freaking out, getting all excited. And I'm pretty sure after what we saw on Raw,
it ain't happening.
Morgan ain't going to be that girl. How did you feel about that?
Oh, I was not happy. I mean,
so what I took from that is she's basically going to be Mandy Rose Part 2, which was supposed to be the original Emma makeover, wasn't it?
Yep. This is something, and now I wondered to myself, is this something that they've been waiting on for so long that didn't kind of happen for them, that they are just hell-bent on making it happen?
I don't
Somebody, I can't remember who it was, whether it was What Culture or Wrestle Talk today. One of them mentioned, because they had found the font in Liv Morgan's promo was exactly the same font as in Emmeline's.
Yeah, but from what I always thought and heard was that Mandy Rose was that repackaged Emma. Like
they didn't do a good job with that either, did they?
I don't know. I mean, she's still there. I mean, to be honest, they could have did something really good with her and Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
I mean, when they were teasing their little like they were going to maybe hook up, obviously, Sonya Deville being that she's an openly gay female, so they're kind of playing with that. And it's like people were starting to get interested because honestly, what would be better for a feud of best friends, lovers, and then bitter love, because of that not working out. And those two could have had a stellar run together doing that. But, they didn't do it. They went another way. They're still just tagging together now. So I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
anyway, there's just
I kind of
so much.
I want something more.
Well, I do too, and I'll tell you what though. One thing that we saw at the TLC when we were there live that indicates to me that we're never going to get what we want, and that is those two little kids in front of us with at least $200 worth of merch that their old man bought. And you know what? As long as those kids want that stuff, they're going to write for those kids. Because, you know, you think to yourself, who would spend more money? Somebody buying for their kids or guys like us buying for ourselves? And you know me, I'm a cheap son of a gun. And I know you spent a pretty good amount of money on memorabilia, but
I think I spent way more money on food.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but like I also
here's a little hint for you. You go to Walmart, you can get those little cup of noodles for 33 cents a piece.
Oh,
that'll last you days and days.
For sure, but like I wasn't feeling good. I didn't hardly eat it all that whole day. We got there. I started, like I mentioned, I like after like the second match, I think I feel a little bit better. And then I started getting like really hungry.
Yeah.
So then it was like popcorn. And this is after I had like chicken tenders and fries, and it was like
ice cream.
Or an ice cream.
Or you sell for yogurt, didn't you?
Yeah, frozen yogurt. Froyo.
So here's the thing. So I got that, and I agree with you. I know you spent way more than me. For one can of beer before you went in, $8.
And that was in the restaurant. That wasn't even
in the restaurant. It wasn't even in the Target Center. And then for a 20-ounce bottle of soda that I watched them pour into a cup, $5. With tax, it was $6.
Should have just been 10 and got the big cup, bro.
Oh yeah, well, they didn't have the big cup where I was at.
Oh, they didn't? Oh, that's
no, because I went to the one that was right by the door because I didn't want to go looking around for shit.
Dude, the Froyo one's had it. You should have went there.
Oh well.
Anyways, no, I paid $13 for that screwdriver.
Oh.
Without tip.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's no.
That's all. I would assume that the arrangement for the Target Center is that WWE probably gets a small percentage of the concessions, not all of it, and that's why it's so flippin' high. But and then I would assume also that
I don't know if it would be though, because I'm pretty sure those are the same exact prices they are at the T-Wolves.
Yeah, but I'm sure that the T-Wolves get a percentage of that as well. You know, I would assume that that's in the contracting. I don't know.
Either way, you're going to pay a lot to eat or drink.
A lot of dough.
A
lot of dough.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'll tell you what. I wish they had I don't know. I wish they had some better merch selection now. Again, like you said, though, they're not selling to me mainly. They're selling to the kids, so that's why I was at. But, like, maybe just a few more selections, though. I don't know.
Well, it like it seems to me, and this is just me, you can't get the WWE licensed stuff at Pro Wrestling Tees. There are some things I'd like to get, but guess what else? Pro Wrestling Tees will sell me a 5X shirt. WWE.com will not. They don't have them. They don't make them bigger than 3. So for me, if I wanted to buy every stinking shirt that WWE had, I'm out of luck because they don't make them for me.
I wonder if the custom ones they do now that you can actually customize yourself.
I've been looking for quite a while.
Try them bootleg in the parking lot like the good old days.
I know. Well, you know what? One of the best bootleg T-shirts I ever bought was at Paul McCartney concert when I went and watched him the first time. and it was absolutely hideous. But that's the reason I bought it.
Yeah, dude, that's all.
Because it was $5.
Dude, I used to get so many Dave Matthews Band parking lot shirts back in the day.
Oh man, a parking lot shirt is the best.
Oh, those things are great. But yeah, anyways, I watched Raw, and to be honest, I don't know.
Well, so here's my first disappointment with Raw. All right, they did exactly the same match for the tag team with the tag teams as they did at the pay-per-view. Exactly. The only difference was OC won, and it wasn't a double count out. What that was just that's insane.
Let me ask you this, because you said, now that you brought that match up, it made me think back to TLC. So, and I was talking about this with Wes too, and because I was interested to see what his response would be, because obviously the Viking Raiders are the babyface in this situation. They're going against the OG, and I'm talking on TLC when they were here, we were at the show, and obviously, coming in, Viking, you're in Minneapolis, Minnesota Vikings, whatever. So you should already kind of just know. And if anybody's like, well, they're not always in Minneapolis, they're like once, whatever, how are they going to know what the football team? Because it's WWE and it's a machine. They know what will make that area they're in that night pop. Why do you think the heels come out in the city and will be like, the Minnesota Vikings are garbage? Because they know what will make you pop, or what's going to make you get heat towards them. So it floored me that as soon as they started doing the skull chants for the Viking Raiders, they didn't do it back.
Yeah. They didn't. I don't think. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that was on the WWE per se. I think it was on those two individuals.
I think so too. I don't think in their heads, I don't think they realized, like,
they didn't realize what was going on. They thought it was just somebody came up with a cool chant and they liked it.
Something, I don't know, but the one dude had purple on his trunks, and they usually do that crap too. I know you don't believe, or I know you weren't sure about Charlotte, but I mean that because of Prince, like, it's just, and again, they know what's going to make people locally go crazy. So the purple was on that show, Prince, and it's so he had the purple dress, so it makes me kind of and they acknowledge it. They were like, yes. All they had to do was this, or like when I brought this up with Wes, and you can hear this on our episode dropping later tonight. He even said, he's like, and even if they didn't do it then, he like went through it and it was like, oh, at this point they should lock up, go into this whole spiel, come out doing one big spot, and as they get up to like celebrate it, instead of doing what normally like this, pop up and right away just do the skull.
Oh God, yeah.
Crowd off. And I was like, that, or just acknowledge it and do it back right away, because that means they're going to go nuts if they're doing it as loud as they were doing it that night at you. All you got to do is do it back once and you're sold.
Oh, God.
The crowd is with you 100%, locally at least. And that was a huge miss, and it was bothering me while we were there, because the whole time, I'm not even a Vikings fan. I hate the Vikings.
Yeah.
But I know what it means to the people here. So when they were doing it, and the whole time I'm like, do it back. In my head, I'm just like, do it back.
I just think they were oblivious to what those two individuals were, just oblivious to what it meant. And
this spot to make them look so good on TV.
Oh my God. It would have made them look huge.
And it was something that could potentially carry with them.
Yeah. Because, you tie into the NFL, you can't trademark something like that. So they could clearly do it for themselves.
And with Fox, and you're now on that network,
their
NFL relation. I mean, I finally watched an episode of Backstage the other night. And I don't know, it was the one with Baron Corbin. So it was the backstage going into TLC. And they did a whole thing with, I think it was Matt Leinart.
Yeah.
And Baron Corbin talking about being on the Cardinals together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, it was just it could have been a perfect moment for WWE, the Viking Raiders, and maybe even help have WWE have a little bit more appreciation for the Twin Cities, and it was just hugely missed.
Yeah, well, I would have a tendency to agree there. Oh man. Well, all right. So let's move quickly from all of that. I think we talked about them enough. To NWA Into the Fire, and I don't know if you watched any clips or anything of it. It was a good pay-per-view for what it was. Aaron Stevens is now the national champion, having beaten Colt Cabana. Thunder Rosa continues to be absolutely unstoppable. Beat the tar out of somebody, and did it. She just does it in such a way that is very believable. And she's just got that look about her that is just, I mean, money. Melina and Marty Bell were up against Allison Ray, I believe, and a partner to be named, because I think the woman that she was going to wrestle got hurt on the episode before, and it turned out to be that her surprise partner was none other than ODB.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, and
that's good, because I heard she didn't get the money to replace the full truck like she was hoping.
Yeah. So it's nice. It was nice to see her. She's, a solid performer, and so now you've got two very recognizable names in Melina and ODB in this match. It was nice to see that match. The other matches were, what you would expect. Aldous and Storm was very good in the story they told. 2 out of 3 falls, with each one choosing a referee. Aldous was Tim Storm. James Storm was, just a regular referee, I guess. But at the conclusion of the second fall, which it was 2 out of 3, a coin was flipped to see who would be the referee for the final fall. And lo and behold, that referee was James Storm's referee, who ended up getting knocked out, and Tim Storm came in and made the call. And of course, after that, the big, huge talk of wrestling moment when the villain Marty Scurll came out and made his way down to the ring after Nick Aldis said, "No man can beat me." And that was pretty cool. I mean, it was really cool.
That the only thing I don't like, because I didn't actually watch it. Obviously, I heard and saw about it. I saw pictures of it. I didn't see it though. Man, I don't know. I don't like it now. I don't like it because he's like, what did he say?
Who?
What did Aldis say?
Nick Aldis said, "No man can take this title. No man can beat me.
No man can beat me."
Yeah.
See, I don't like it already because,
oops, sorry.
I don't like it already because Marty already lost to him for the title.
There he is.
You know,
Adam.
What's up, buddy?
See you, man.
So I don't know. I'm already kind of like, why would? That's weird. Don't say that and then have a guy who you already beat and retain the title over come out. I don't know.
Well, I think the whole thing though. I think the whole thing is just here comes Marty, and it's how else are you going to bring him in? Particular.
Well, what would have been smart is either James Storms brings him in. You know what I mean? Like, here's who I pick since you two were such good friends. Or like somehow like a wild card, he's actually the third referee.
Yeah.
Just because then it can be like, why is he here? He wants another shot. And then it's more like, yeah, him and Aldis, where now it's like, but nobody's going to take this belt from me. And then here comes Marty, and he's like, yeah, like I'm saying, that guy, nobody's going to take, like.
Well, but I think part of it was, the way that I took it was, here he makes a statement. Here comes Marty. Oh shit, he forgot about Marty. But
again, I just don't like it because I mean, if in the day and age, it's like same like WWE. It's like no one believes this because it's so just unbelievable about how you're selling it. Like, oh, really? Seth Rollins was behind AOP this whole time?
The whole time.
Like, it's like that where it's like, oh, no one's taking this title. Oh, I forgot about Marty. But then it's still like, oh, but that's right. I beat him. I don't know. It's weird, but it's awesome. And it's definitely gonna help NWA for getting on there. And then B, it's gonna make it even bigger now for when come sometime January he debuts on either AEW or WWE. You know what I mean?
Well, he's definitely going to be there for a little bit because he was on the episode this evening, and I would expect. I don't recall when, but the NWA has another pay-per-view coming up. That I think it's January 24th, at which they will debut the old NWA television title as well.
So then what would then probably happen is he's going to debut on the February AEW pay-per-view because they're in one like early February.
Yeah.
So it makes for a perfect one run with Aldis, kind of like Cody did going into All In. And then his appearance, because that's honestly, that would be a really good way to do it if he ends up in AEW for them, because I feel like they need more eyes now on pay-per-views. Before there was no TV, no nothing, so everybody was watching these and they were amazing.
Right.
I feel like Full Gear kind of fell flat on its face a little bit as far as like nobody was really talking about it. There wasn't a lot of big hype going into it. You know what I mean? It just didn't have the same feel those other ones did, and they want to try to keep some of that magic for their actual pay-per-views, especially if they're going every 2 to 3 months and not doing one every month.
Right.
So that would definitely a buzz, because wrestling fans aren't dumb. They're going to see that, oh, okay, perfect timing for that match to happen, and then weeks later he pops up in AEW. And again, it'll create the buzz. And then when he finally pops, like Moxley did at All Out, I mean, it's going to just go crazy. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I like it if that's the plan. I still like my idea better and sneak him onto the cruise in Nassau.
That's only because you're going to be on the cruise
and have him appear on that one.
You just want to see him on a cruise.
No, I think it would be great, because you wouldn't think anybody's going to make a debut on a freaking cruise boat.
That's true.
You just wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Absolutely true.
So I think like that would be just a great thing to do. Plus, again, then it makes it a little bit better, because honestly, last year it was just matches. There was nothing real special about it. And they're actually doing TV on this. You would think they want to have something special happen on it.
Going to be storylines that they can follow through on the boat, probably.
And that's my worry, though, is the whole point of that cruise is you're just having a vacation.
Yeah.
Some wrestling and rock shows. But like, when you be like bumping into people around the boat, they weren't like, no, don't talk to me, whatever. I just don't want it to be all business, where everybody's in character the whole damn trip, because that was the nice thing of the other one, where everybody was just hanging out. Didn't matter.
Well, and who knows? Maybe it will be that way. I mean, we still don't know what is actually going to happen on that boat.
Here's what I do want to happen on the boat, because apparently Ric Flair has recently just said that he's been cleared to take a bump. Vince McMahon just won't let him. So, damn it, I hope he takes a bump in the boat.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I skipped over this. We were talking about NWA. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson still the NWA World Heavyweight tag team champions.
It just means they don't have anybody to beat them yet. They're like,
They got people to beat them. It's just like, I don't know why. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, this is, and I'll say this too, because I watched AEW Dark a little bit. It's like, I'm starting to lose my patience and excitement for some of these things. You know, it's like, oh my God, the Rock and Roll Express still have he's 60 some years old. He's older than I am.
Right.
He has no business having that title. And it's just nostalgia. And I can't swallow it.
That's why it's fun for like a week. Or like WWE mastered that. Look at what they did with the 24/7 title at the Raw anniversary SmackDown show. I mean, literally, like, what, 20 people held it, and like tons of legends got to hold it for like 5 minutes each. I mean, like, and it was fun. It's like, oh yeah, he won it. Oh, now he lost it. But it wasn't a like, oh, he won it, and then like 2 weeks later, like, wait a why? There's just no way this old man would still hold this title. Someone will kill him by now, or he'll die walking downstairs.
Yeah, and then what do you do? But yeah, and some of the things with, as much as I hate to say it, some of the things with AEW are starting to get very repetitive for me. For example, SCU versus Private Party on AEW Dark. I mean, it's like there's nothing new here.
I think that to me is kind of just a downfall of a young tag team like Private Party, though.
Yeah,
and I mean, just they have their giant spots. They're really good, but at some point they need to start like kind of adding to the library, keeping it exciting. That's the thing with like the Bucks, Lucha Bros, SCU is it's always changing because those guys are all veterans.
Yeah.
Been at it way longer than Private Party has. And that's just something I think they're running into. I think a lack of some storylines for some of these people. It's hard to just see them wrestle every week, but we don't get any content to go along with it as far as why do I care that this person's wrestling in this match or what's the motive?
Yeah.
I get they want records involved, but there still has to be some storyline entertainment to it.
Which is a very interesting thing. So they introduced Big Swole, who's a female wrestler, and advertised this is her debut on AEW Dynamite. She comes in, and they were trying to hype her up, and yet they show down below she has a record of 0-2, and it's like.
Well, that's just confusing because they haven't done a single thing really with that women's division.
Yeah.
Now we're just getting more people introduced every week, and it's like something needs to finally start happening. Only thing we've got there so far is Brandy Rose and whatever that crazy crap is.
And that is some crazy crap. Yeah. But having said that, again, I'll go back. Being an elite this week, the segment for the Dark Order, again, they're making huge headway with those guys, I think, and I think that's going to turn out to be something pretty cool. I wish they would have started it that way from the beginning, because we'd be that much further at this point. But
I think they should have, like, when they debuted, they should have taken someone.
Yeah.
Because then that would have really been like, oh man, they took him, and like kind of like how like the Wyatts took Daniel Bryan and he became a Wyatt family member.
Yeah.
Or like how they took Kane and just no one saw him for like 2 months. Like they should have done something like that. Like they take him, they join the Dark Order, because then there'd be more of like, I still don't know what these guys are up to, but they're recruiting. And then when the vignettes come out, then there you have it. Oh, okay, I get it. But yeah, I like what they're doing with that. It's starting to kind of, now we got to see what they do with the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, which again, I'm not happy about. I really thought Allie was just going to be a women's competitor and not a tag team valet, but whatever. Because my hope was eventually someday they'd bring Rosemary over and we can get the Demon Bunny again, because I always thought that was a hilarious combo.
Well, you never know. It could still happen.
So, yeah, I don't know. But what's impressive though is all that champagne he sold, man.
You love it, baby.
Sold out.
That's the thing. He is gold.
I mean, the inner circle couldn't really be more perfect right now. And I really like how they did the whole, because it's totally a Jericho thing. Moxley comes out the next week, he comes out, and then when they come out, it's not even the fight. Instead, they want Moxley on their team because it's, that's the Jericho and the heel. Like, I don't want to fight him. He might beat me. Be on my team. And I like how they just like left it. Like, I don't know. I thought that was a cool move. I think it made me more interested about what's going to happen after we see this Jungle Boy and Jericho match.
Yeah,
but
I got to tell you, I loved Moxley mugging at the camera.
Right,
that was great.
But again, and this is where I think, and I know people are like, I love less storyline, more wrestling, and that's true. But there's a way to do both.
Yeah,
and I just feel like we're missing a little bit of that because I want to see more things. I want to see. I know Hager, I don't think is doing much right now because I think he might have a Bellator fight, like one more before he's like done and can actually wrestle. Maybe, I don't know that one for sure. And then but Sammy Guevara, I'd like to see them actually run with him having a feud. Like, see, like that was the thing. Like on Raw back in the Attitude Era, you would get those runs where, oh well, here's DX, but the New Age Outlaws have their thing going on here. You've got X-Pac doing his thing over here. China's got a thing over here, but then they all come together at some point. They're DX, blah, 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 but then go back to their own storyline. And I want to start seeing that with the inner circle more. And I'd like to just see that with a lot of the people. That's just, I don't want to, I'm in, but I'm not in, because I think part of the thing they're missing too is a lot of the rise that happened with the Elite, the Bullet Club, really does come off that YouTube show.
Oh, definitely.
When they were still the Bullet Club and on, like what the Young Bucks were doing, a lot of it stems from that. That was all storyline.
Yeah.
That was all them doing their own storylines. Like, so why are we not getting any of that on Dynamite? And you can't actually be like, well, if you watch the YouTube stuff, you'll get it. Because if you notice now, they tie it in.
Yeah.
The Elite's tied into stuff from Dynamite. Even Sammy Guevara, I've seen some of his vlogs, and they're tied in. Like they're doing some AEW stuff on his show. Like it's, it's. By
the way, it's Sammy Guevara. I hate to correct you. It's not Sammy Guevara. Although Sammy Guevara is a much better name.
The Spanish god. That's all I know.
Sammy Guevara.
I
love it.
The panda guy. Dude wears the dead panda on his head.
He hasn't worn the dead panda in how long now?
That's sad though.
I know. It was a
also probably. I mean, he hasn't had like a big one-on-one match lately either. He's been
he hasn't.
18 matches. But yeah, I'd really like to see that. But I mean, they're still young. It's still early enough they can do it. It'll be interesting when it's a year done, and then we'll go back and see what happened with AEW. NXT's doing the right thing right now too.
Yep, I agree.
Like NXT is running hot right now.
Well, as like I said, I will have to watch NXT first tomorrow.
Rhea Ripley going over tomorrow. It has to happen.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so great. And it's going to be cool because they're saying that there's going to be some call-ups happening here soon. So
Cole and Balor's going to be fantastic as well. And I just, to be honest with you, man, it reinforced that I want to watch it because of the match that we're going to talk about. One of the matches we're going to talk about here in a minute from TLC 2017 when Balor and AJ wrestled. It just reminds me that, I kind of got to watch Finn Balor.
Yeah, I forgot how good of the match that was.
Yeah.
Should we get into that now?
Yes, let's do it. Old school review this week is from 2017, so it's not really terribly old school, but it is the TLC pay-per-view that happened in Minneapolis, because we both went to the one in Minneapolis, and we thought, boy, it'd be kind of cool if we compared the two.
Right. You weren't at the show? Or
I was not at this one, no, sir. But I do recall watching it.
And what's interesting is this was in October.
Yeah.
October 22nd, which I do remember it being nice out. I think there was like a Vikings game on that day or something. Yeah, I remember. I remember this show. I remember. You remember?
I remember.
I remember.
We start off with the debut of my girl, Asuka.
That was the first match. Real quick, though, the pre-show match, Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox.
Oh, I didn't see that. Didn't watch the pre-show.
Yeah, Banks beating Alicia Fox. 11 minutes long. Yeah, that was the actual pre-show match. I remember watching that. I used to be a really big fan of Alicia Fox, and then her last few years, it was just like,
you got a little drunky.
Yeah, like quality kind of went.
Yeah, well, you can't. It's hard to do a good job when you're liquored up, I guess. Ask Scott Hall.
I was just gonna say she pulled a Scott Hall. Yeah, and then your girl and her,
and in fact, Emma's final appearance.
Yeah, which I don't remember if that was planned at the time, or
I don't think it was planned, but it was
interesting pairing though, because I figured like she probably, I think Emma at some point probably wrestled Asuka on the indie scene.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so they had already probably known each other, and that's probably why we saw Emma get put in this match, because honestly, she wasn't really high in the pecking order when it came to the women's division at this time. So it was kind of an odd mood when she won the match on Raw to face Asuka then at TLC, but whatever, rolled with it. It was the opening match. I popped for Emma, and I clapped for Asuka in respect to what was happening. 9 minutes, 25 seconds.
I clapped for Asuka the whole time. This is something that you may or may not have noticed. The initial mask that she wore out to the ring.
I noticed this.
Is the mask of the paint that she uses now.
It was, yeah. The green paint was the mask.
Isn't that interesting, though?
2 years later, and it's on her face.
And she's spewing the green mist, baby. Spewing that green mist.
We did not see it. Unbelievable.
I figure at a pay-per-view, I pay that much money to sit in the stands, I'm going to see some green mist. But
it was a letdown.
Apparently, what happens when your partner gets a concussion, you keep that shit in your mouth.
Right. But moving on from that match, which the crowd was hot. I remember this. The crowd was ready for Asuka. She was coming off that undefeated streak in NXT. It was a huge deal. Everybody knew she was going to more than likely go into the Rumble that year and win it and have a Mania moment. And everybody was right, except that Mania moment wasn't right. Yeah. The third match was Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann against Gentleman Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick, the very short-lived, amazing duo of Gallagher and Kendrick.
As I recall, it was a match.
Yeah, I think this is when I went and got a drink and some food. It was 8 minutes long. Not to say I'm crapping on it, but this is the 205. 205 Live was kind of new.
Yeah.
And they were really pushing it, and it was cool.
It was, it was a good match. It was not a great match, but it was good, and it was entertaining to me.
I'll tell you what, it was the best cruiserweight match on the card.
Yes.
From what I saw. Because I did catch some of it. And of course, I've watched this show so many times afterwards. But yeah, so there was that match. Next was my favorite lady was Alexa Bliss against Mickie James, which this was fun because this is their falling out.
Yeah.
And it was for the Raw's Women's Championship, 11 minutes, 25 seconds. If you remember, Alexa Bliss is the reason why Mickie James made her comeback, bringing her in for that extra backup. Then eventually they went at it.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I mean, Alexa Bliss is just, for her size and what she can pull off in the ring, always amazes me.
But she's just tiny.
She really is. Like, don't get me wrong. She's smoking hot. I'm not going to pretend that's not real, guys. All right? Get over it. But you have to respect how tiny she is and the stuff she... Like, her DDTs look so brutal because of her size.
Yeah.
Like, If she was a foot taller, it'd be like, that's just a DDT. She does it, and it's like, ooh, she just killed that person.
And to be fair, Mickey James, for her age,
amazing.
Also freaking fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah, she definitely, I think, got better. I think.
Oh gosh, yeah.
She was really running high. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a good match. Next is a match, and I am pretty sure during this match I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now. This is for the Cruiserweight Championship. Enzo Amore against Kalisto.
Let's just say
Kalisto was the champion.
Yeah. Both gentlemen no longer with the company. Let's just say that when Enzo came out without Big Cass, that spiel is pretty lousy.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, everybody knew he wasn't a good wrestler. It literally was talking with Big Cass that made him over. That's why people liked it. Like, I like the little guy with the big guy, and the little guy runs his mouth, and the big guy just says, like, yeah, and then the hot chick. Like, that's what it was. And as soon as that wasn't there, it's just like, well, now this little guy is just annoying and kind of insulting, and he can't even wrestle for shit, and he's a champion.
Yeah.
You know, so it was awful. Enzo wins, becomes Cruiserweight champion. It was a very low moment. Now the next match you briefly touched on right before this, kind of previewing this, and that was the Demon Finn Balor versus AJ Styles, which I didn't realize that went 18 minutes and 20 seconds.
Dude, it was a killer match. Now, one of the things too that they mentioned, and you and I had talked about this a little bit, the roster was struck by an illness. And AJ wasn't forced. AJ was asked to fly back from, I believe it was Argentina, in order to participate in this match, because I can't remember who.
So it was supposed to be Bray Wyatt. Now, this match had a lot of weird stuff because it was already running high because at this time you weren't getting Demon Balor all the time. That was a very special thing. Second, it was originally part of the Bray Wyatt feud, and this was also supposed to be the debut of Sister Abigail, whatever that was going to be at one time. Like, because this was right after the promo where you actually saw the face of Sister Abigail, like on something he did. I don't remember. Either way, like that was so that already this match was like, oh man, this is gonna be good. And then literally, I think that morning is when it got announced that he wasn't going to be able to do it. Him and Roman Reigns both were out, both replaced. It was either the night before or the morning of the show. So then AJ Styles steps in for this match, flew all night to make it, and just an absolutely great match and a cool moment.
Oh gosh, yeah, the too sweet at the end, which, in any other day and age would have been terribly frowned upon.
Yeah, I guess they had it on Backstage, actually. The Backstage episode I watched this last week, they talked about this match.
Oh.
And Balor was talking about it. Like, they had some clips of him making some comments about it. And I guess one of them was like, that wasn't planned to do the too sweet at the end. Like, AJ was the one that was like, let's do it. And he's like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then they did it. So, that was a really good match. And again, it was cool to be there and get to see the Demon come out.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. You always have fun. Like at TLC this week, it was cool to see Aleister Black come out and get rose up because I've never been in the arena when it happens.
Yeah.
Cool. It was something new. Yeah. And then now before the next match, something that was happening throughout the show, like 2 or 3 times before we got to this next match. This is the Elias days where he was coming out and just playing his guitar on the entry.
Being interrupted. Yeah.
He would interrupt the show, come out, play. And again, this is also Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan, my son. Fake. And so
I will say this. I love the fact that Jason Jordan was throwing garbage at him.
Yeah, he came out and just throwing like garbage and food at him. Like all 3 times that eventually we're going to make it a match. So Jason Jordan versus Elias in a singles match went just under 9 minutes. Jason Jordan with probably one of his only wins as a singles competitor. that I can remember.
Yeah.
Against and a perfect match to wedge in between what was an epic showdown of Finn Balor and AJ Styles, and then one really hyped up main event, and that was going to be the Shield versus the Miz, Braun Strowman, Kane, Cesaro, and Shayna. I forgot that it was
3-on-5, man.
Now, what's interesting about this match, again, is we mentioned the people who got sick. Roman Reigns was also one of those people that was sick, along with Bray Wyatt. So this was the announcement of Kurt Angle making his return to in-ring action in, I can't remember if it was like 6, 7, or 12 years.
Yeah.
At that point. Which it's amazing the man's cleared for how many neck surgeries he has had. He gets put in, so it's him and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. It's a 5-on-3 handicap table, ladders, and chairs match. The thing that bothered me about this match going into it, as like, knowing I'm going to the show and watching the lead-in, is I was just like, this is stupid. As far as like, yeah, okay, the Miz is the Miz, and that's even discredit because the Miz is a stellar wrestler. But then you got like Braun Strowman, Kane, Cesaro, Shayna, 4 like legit 5. All 5 of them are legit.
Yeah,
that there should be no way in hell 3 guys can beat those 5 if they're on the same team. Which that's part of this match, is that they couldn't function well, but still. So I was always hoping there was going to be at least 1 or 2 more people added.
Never was.
It never happened. Yeah.
Kurt got a vest.
He got a vest. Yeah. I remember because I was buying something at the merch stand. And when I was walking back the entrance we came in, like the one over is where they came in, and it was like right at that time. So I kind of just like walked over and was like, oh, look, there's the Shield. But the thing is, it was just the 2. And it was like, oh yeah, because Kurt Angle's going to just do his own entrance, Yeah. He was actually hiding in the stairwell still, because then they walked in, then Kurt comes in. So never knew, and everybody cleared out as soon as those 2 went in. So it was like, damn, if only like it would have taken 2 more minutes to get my thing at the merch stand.
You could have got shoved out of the way
all by himself and been like, yo, you owe me for that Subway. No. I didn't even buy it. My friend bought it, but it's like, hey, poor guy, though. He was looking rough when we saw him that day because he just had a neck surgery, and it was like his 5th.
Yeah.
Amazing. He was cleared for this match. It's amazing that he even wrestles at all. But that's Kurt Angle, man. That dude's a beast.
Yeah.
Real, like legit. Like the things he did to win that gold medal. Like,
oh, dude.
And this was a 35-minute match. And the Shield wins, but it's because of the friction between mainly Braun Strowman and Kane.
Yeah.
Because who was the bigger monster?
Yeah. Well, Kane will always be the bigger monster in my mind.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Braun will always be the bigger clown. Because anybody who rubs their feet on the ring like a bull gonna charge is a joke to me.
Very true. I agree 100%. But this had that spot though too, the like coolest part of this whole match, right? Where Kane yanks down that line of chairs that was hung up from the ceiling, and it falls onto Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
that was a cool spot. But again, it was just you knew, especially when Angle got put into this, you knew like not much was going to happen to really further what was going on with this whole thing. And then on top of that, it was just, it really like all this was a good match for a while. And then just, we're going to just not work together. And I hate you. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. Well, I'm going to drop 10 chairs on your head and see what you say about that. And then it was over. Overall, though, it was a pretty decent TLC.
Yeah. I mean, now the thing that I find interesting, because I didn't think about this. Time-wise, how long was the total show? Does it say? Do we have that information? I should have looked it up because it seems to me like it was about the same number of matches as we saw on Sunday. but it seemed like it was a longer show.
The one we were just at, or this one?
The 2017 seems like it was longer time-wise than the one we went to.
Well, I and you might be,
but I think the number of matches was about the same, right?
We had 7 matches on the main card at 2017.
Okay.
We had 6 on this one.
I believe that's correct.
Again, we had some really good matches this last one, 2017, and there was some really good match. I think the 2017 stands out more because of the Balor AJ Styles match.
Yeah.
Everything that went into the match, the whole traveling, the whole how it was last second, the whole how originally the hype, that was a hyped match anyways because of the Sister Abigail debut with Bray Wyatt, all that. So, I mean, that show will always be remembered because of that match. But yeah, I definitely feel like it was a better crowd, a little bit better reaction.
And I think the matches were better and actually meant more.
Well, and if you look at what we're looking at right here, here again. Granted, we were kind of bitching about this for this last TLC. No, there's really no title matches. But if you look at 2017's TLC, you know what we were bitching about at the end of that night? How the hell are you going to have 8 total matches that we've just paid to watch and only one of them actually had a stipulation as far as something TLC like?
Didn't even think about that.
Was the only match on the card that actually had a stipulation as it was a TLC match.
Yeah.
This last weekend, 2019, we had 2 TLC matches. We had a tables match. Was there one more something?
Well, the 2 championship matches were ladder matches. The 2 tag
we build them as TLC.
Oh, okay. The Lashley was a table.
Yeah. So we had three gimmick matches.
Yeah.
Opposed to 1. No title matches. Well, no
singles titles.
1 was well, okay, so we had 3 TLC matches.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, there was really no gimmick match, and we only saw anything taken out during that main event in 2017. So overall, I think this was a better TLC show and the purpose of a TLC show compared to 2017. Both were excellent shows, though. I'm glad I got to go to both.
I'm glad I got to go to one and watch one. I would say rating wise, I would probably give the edge at about 3.5 to 2017 and maybe 3.25 to the one we just saw.
Yeah, I'll go 3.5 on both.
Yeah.
I think they both stood out for certain reasons.
I agree. And so that was fantastic. Next week on Tuesday, it is, let's see, this is the 17th, so add 7, it's the 24th. Are we going to do a show?
Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve?
I will not be around for that.
Well, that'll be fine. Maybe what I'll do is slap together some of our greatest hits. I don't know if we have any, but I'll slap some stuff together. We'll put it up as a premiere, and if you happen to be watching, I'll just schedule it to run, and we'll run something. I don't know what it'll be. It might just be us saying Happy Christmas.
We'll figure something out.
We sure will. Folks, thank you so much. Oh, by the way, you got anything cooking this week other than you've got your show with Wes coming out here soon?
Yeah. Tonight, actually, at this point, I'm probably going to just do it tomorrow because I'm tired. So I'm going to go to bed. But tomorrow, new episode will drop on YouTube and anywhere you can download audio podcasts of the Briscoe Big A Show. MPH has kind of been on hold at the moment. I don't know if it's going to come back. I don't know when we'll do that. Who knows? And other than that, this or just at Big Ace for the number 4 life on Twitter, and maybe I'll just tweet during some shows. And you can.
Sounds like a good idea to me, folks. If you're up in North Minnesota, I'll be at the Dublin Pub in Duluth on Saturday night for 2 shows, 6:30 and 9 o'clock.
Buy him lots of Guinness.
Don't buy me any Guinness.
Tons of it.
Don't buy me any Guinness.
Barrels of Guinness.
Here's the thing. I always tell people, like, oh, can I buy you a drink? You were great. I'm like, I'd rather have you buy a T-shirt.
Yeah.
A T-shirt from me. Thank you.
Get roofied.
Because I can't drive, because I got to drive up there and then I got to drive home. So I don't want to be liquored up hitting deers and shit on the way home. That's not good. You ever hit a deer?
That's true. Buy him a gift card to a liquor store so he can have a drink at home. So
I'd rather have you buy a T-shirt or a temporary tattoo.
That works too.
Temporary tattoo.
Yes.
I sold 3 of those. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you about Frontline. I met the one of the guys that is one of the promoters in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, when I was there last week, and they've got a huge show coming up in April where they've got Rob Van Dam coming in, and I think Mr. Anderson, who of course is working with the NWA right now. So and I think they might even have Hornswoggle coming in.
Yeah, he's a Wisconsin boy.
Yeah, he's so there's a couple guys over there in Wisconsin, and these guys are doing some good stuff. Everything they do is geared towards making a donation to I believe a disabled veterans group, which is fantastic. And one of their founders is a Purple Heart returning veteran who got hit in the face with a bullet and was cleared to wrestle and has been going at it. And I can't remember the fellow's name right off the top of my head, but I'd love to get them on with us one time and talk about what they're doing. I think it's very, very cool. Anything that people do for vets is okay in my book. Other than that, I hope you have a very happy Christmas, Ace, if I don't talk to you before.
Yeah, you too.
And, I'll also be dog sitting over the weekend, so that'll be fun. But it's not an incontinent dog. It's a dog that can actually hold its own urine.
He's trained, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he's at least a little. Anyway. All right, folks. Thank you again so much for watching. We appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch us, even if it's for just a little bit. Means the world to us. Subscribe to us. Buy a T-shirt from our T-shirt shop. Join us on Patreon if you like. We will see you again soon, because I won't be here on New Year's Eve either.
Oh,
I'm in Eau Claire for New Year's Eve.
Dang, at that rate, we're only going to cut maybe 1 or 2 more shows before we have to let people know
before the cruise,
or when we're going to do the show while I'm on the cruise. Cruise.
We got also
happy day, everybody. The day that we do this show, Tuesdays, just happens to be the day that we'll be docked in Nassau all day. So there might be a very special early edition. I don't know. I don't know the time difference between Minnesota and Nassau.
I think it's only 1 hour.
So there might be an early not even afternoon. It might even be right around noon. An early day episode whenever he can do it after work or something, right?
Yeah. Depends on whether I'm icing planes or not.
So let's hope for good weather and he's not working too hard.
Good weather, no work, lots of wrestling.
Because the later it gets, I don't know if I'll be able to be off the boat. I want to be up there for Dynamite. So
I got you. All right, my friend. Again, everybody, thanks again for watching. We'll see you again as soon as we can. Keep watching for details. You've been watching the Masked Comedian X-Cast with good old Big Ace. We'll see you.